Welcome back to one more pen. Today I'm doing daily writers. These are the pens and inks that I've been using over the past 2 months actually, because I haven't done this recently, so it's way overdue. I've got a very nice selection of pens and inks as well. Some of them have actually already dried out, so I'll just be dipping those in the ink to at least show you what what they've been like for the writing sample. So that's what we'll do, and I think we should just get to it. By the way, if you like my channel, please like and subscribe. I always appreciate the support. Alright, let's get to it. Well, alright, these are the pens that we'll be looking at today from left to right. In no particular order, I've got the Kaweco Parkeo. This is the demonstrator model, so it's clear. I've got the Noodler's Ahab, also demonstrator. Waterman Allure Deluxe model. Lamy All-Star, this is the petrol special edition. Pilot Metropolitan, Cross Calais, Parker Vector XL, Parker Jotter, Jinhao, of which I do not remember the model number, TWSBI Eco, and this is a Pelican, of which also I've got no idea what the model would be on that, but this is a cheap plastic pen that I found, and we'll take a closer look at that one as well. So these are the pens for today. Let's look at them one by one. For the writing samples, I'll be using my Rodeo dot pad. I have to say it's almost time for a new pad. I think I will have to put an order. Alternatively, I will have to start to use something else. I'm wondering if you have any suggestions. I'll tell you what I have is I've got Rodeo notebooks, but they are lined, and I also have some Apica notebooks which are also lined. It's quite difficult to get blank paper, quality blank paper. I actually think I got an Apica A4 that's blank. That's probably the next one that I'll open up. But between Apica and Rodeo, which is your preferred paper, it would be interesting to hear. Alright, let's get to it. I think first up, let's start with this one. This is the Kaweco Parkeo demonstrator model, and the clip is extra. This is a nice pen, I have to tell you. This is really absolutely worth it. These pens are so cheap for the value that you get. It's just brilliant. They have some of the really the nicest nibs I've ever had on a pen. So let's do writing sample. So this would be Kaweco Parkeo. Very awkward writing angle, so please excuse my writing. I can't even write straight with the dots. So this is a medium, and the ink that I'm using is Diamine Salamander. This is a lovely ink, I have to tell you. It's I mean, you can see the color, but let me, well, that looks almost black. This pen is exceptionally smooth. It provides such a nice amount of feedback. Yet it's very smooth. It's one of the best nibs I've ever had on a pen. This ink is definitely one of my favorites right now. It's quite a nice wet ink, and the pen also is it's quite a wet writer, so the combination is that you get a really nice wet line. Not too much, but just a very pleasant experience. So this is a combination that I think I'll be using this for a while. It just works. Right, next up I have the Noodler's Ahab. Now, as you can see, there's no ink left actually inside, but I think there's still some in the section. So let me start with a writing sample here. So this is the Noodler's Ahab. I think this is a fine nib. I think they come in a fine, And the ink is Noodler's Black Swan in Australian Roses. So let me do a little ink swatch there. I didn't really like the Ahab when I got it initially, but it's grown on me and it's definitely one of my favorite pens right now. It's a really wet writer, and I don't know if you can see it, but at the angle that I'm looking at, I can see that even here the ink is only starting to dry. This is all very wet, and I love that. I know some people perhaps want a drier ink or a drier pen, but this is brilliant. The ink is wet, the pen is wet. You can get some flex out of the nib. It's supposed to be a flex nib. I wouldn't call this a flex nib. What happens with this pen, as well as the Noodler's triple tail, if I flex those nibs, then it just eats into the paper and I get a tremendous amount of feathering and bleed through. It doesn't matter if I use good quality paper like Rhodia. It does it even with Rhodia paper. So I suspect that the nibs aren't as smooth as they can be, and with extra pressure I think it digs into the paper and that causes the feathering. Because the inks by themselves, you can do an ink swatch on this paper and it's not going to feather or bleed most of the time at all. So I think these are not the greatest nibs for true flex. But if you're happy to have you know what the nibs do give you is, with a little bit of pressure, they are nice and springy for a steel nib. They definitely give you more ink flow, and so you get really good shading on the ink. So even here, this is not dry yet over here, oops. And that line comes from the section, and this is why this is not a pen that I would carry around with me. It is quite a messy pen, so it'll stay on my desk, but this pen and ink combination, absolutely brilliant. I filled this pen when I got the Black Swan ink. I refilled it already, and this is now going for a third refill. Normally, I don't even refill my pens. When they're empty, I clean them out and put them away so that I can rotate, because that's the whole point of pens and inks, right? But this one is staying on my desk. It's just a good. Alright, next up I have this one. This is the Waterman Allure Deluxe. Very similar to the Parker Vector. Don't want to get into the whole story again, but it's essentially the same pen. Even if I uncap them, you see remarkable similarities. Okay, so let's do the writing sample. Yeah, we're still good for the camera. So this is the Waterman Allure Deluxe with a finer nib, and my ink today is Diamine. Whoa, that's very bad. Diamine Earl Grey. And for a grey ink, this is very, very nice ink. In fact, it's for a grey ink, it's dark enough to use as a a business writer. So I think it's just lovely that way. This pen is a fine. It has good feedback. It provides good feedback on the border of scratchy, but not scratchy. It's not tying misalignment or anything. It's perfectly fine. But you definitely feel the feedback, and it's very nice. These are really nice pens. These ones and the Parker Vectors, just really good workhorse pens, I think. I will leave the ones that I have to dip for later. This is my Pilot Metropolitan, one of my many Pilot Metropolitans, because they're just such good pens. And you could probably hear how quiet this pen is compared to the Waterman, because it's just an exceptionally smooth nib. Pilot Metropolitan, this is a medium, although it's a Japanese medium, so probably closer to a fine. And the ink that I'm using, I have to think for a second. Diamine, Ancient Copper. This is a very nice ink. It's one of my more recently acquired inks. I really love the color on this. I really love these sort of earth tone inks. So this pen and ink combination is a winner. The ink, I think, matches the color of the pen really well, and yeah, just enjoy. The only drawback with this pen is with this kind of filler. What do we call this? Squeezy type of converter. You don't get a lot of ink in here, and you can't see how much ink you've got. So that's the only thing I don't like. But of course you can get other converters as well. So that one's great. Next up, Cross Calais. This pen is so good that it's actually boring. And let me explain why I say that. This is a pen where, you know, most of my pens have something about it that gives it character. And this is a beautiful pen. It's not perfect by any means. I've said it before. The finial on the barrel is sort of misaligned at the bottom there. You can see that. That's just really bad. The clip is almost unusable because it's so stiff. Yet it is a beautiful pen. It's got a really long section, which makes for a very comfortable grip, and it's interesting, the nib slopes a little bit downward, which is very nice. It's really beautiful, nice character. Let me just write with this one, we'll see. Cross Calais. This is a medium nib, by the way, and the ink is simply Cross black. Very appropriate amount of feedback, extremely reliable and consistent. This is one of those pens that you know, if you need it for business, for example, if you're doing a lot of writing, it's just brilliant. It's nothing will go wrong. It's so consistent. It's really nice. It's got these weird little cartridges, which I don't see the point of it. I mean, you have a barrel that goes all the way to there, and then you've got this tiny little cartridge, and that is a spring that just fell out, and now I have to find it. Otherwise, I will never see it again. So let me pause for a second while I find the spring, and I have to be careful not to step on it. Yeah, it's gone. I'll find it later. Don't see the purpose of having that spring. This is actually weird. I bought a converter for this pen, paid a lot of money for it, and it doesn't fit. So that's the only thing with the Cross pens. Other than that, like I said, this pen is so reliable, it's almost boring. It's just really nice to use. Alright, moving on. We've got the Parker XL. This is the green one, and of course I will have a green ink in this pen. Let me just see. Yes, I think we are. Camera is fine. So this is the Parker Vector XL in a medium nib, and the ink is Pelican 4001. I think it is dark green. So the Pelikan inks are, I think, a slightly drier ink, and yeah, or it's still smudging a little bit, but it dries way faster, for example, than the Noodler. So quick drying ink, but this is a nice wet writer and a medium as well. Lays down a lot of ink. These pens are just also really good workhorse pens. So reliable, so nice to use. Absolutely brilliant. Next up, I have this Jinhao. Like I said, I can't remember the model number on this pen. It's got a extra fine nib. So let's see, this is Jinhao. Unknown model. I can probably look it up, but and the nib being an extra fine for the day. Ink is Noodler's Heart of Darkness. And we have a plane passing overhead. So excuse the noise. Yeah, this pen was really cheap. It's got some similarities to it reminds me at least of the Pilot Kakuno, as well as the Pelikan. I can't remember which one, but it's one of the cheaper models as well. Pelikan. Oh no, it's gone. But it's a very nice pen. It's very practical. It's light plastic, but there's nothing about this pen that doesn't work. The nib, extra fine for me, is a little bit on the fine side, but yet, as you can see, it writes very well. It's actually very smooth for an extra fine. I would expect it to be quite scratchy, and it's not. So this is a nice writer, and I think this is the right ink to go with this pen, because it's quite a wet ink. So I'm really enjoying that. Right, next up, TWSBI Eco with a broad nib, and you can see I've still got quite a bit of ink going on there. So we have dogs barking and all kinds of distractions. TWSBI Eco in a broad nib, and my ink Pelikan 4001. Brilliant brown. Now, is this really brown? I mean, it's got a brownish look to it, but I will tell you, if you write using what is that, Iroshizuku Yuyake, which is an orange ink, it's almost exactly the same. So this is a very orangey brown, very light, but still a color that I absolutely love. It's a beautiful color. It goes really well in this pen, and the broad nib gives really nice shading on this. So this is also a favorite. Right, now we get to the three pens that are actually run dry a little bit. So let me start with this one. Lamy All-Star. We know these pens, they're really nice. I've got a fine nib on this one. And in this pen I am writing with Lamy and Prussian blue, but I'm pretty sure it's dry. Yes, it's definitely dry. So I'm just going to dip it, and oh no, hang on a sec, I just need to get some towels to wipe any excess ink off. And I'm back, so no need to edit that out. Okay. The only problem with these diamond bottles is the very narrow neck at the top, and that means that some pens you cannot get in there. The section is just too big, you can't get it in there to fold with the converter, and you have to use a syringe, which is really annoying. But this one makes it. So we'll see. It'll probably be quite wet now because I just dipped it, but you'll still get a sense of how this pen writes. So Lamy AL or All Star. This is a fine nib, and my ink is Lamy Prussian blue. This is for a fine. It is quite fine. I would not say that the pen is scratchy, but the feedback is on the substantial side. Having said that, if you don't put a lot of pressure on the nib, if you write with a really light hand, it's also all that's needed. This pen will write by the weight of the pen itself, which is the way that it should be actually. But it's a really nice pen, really nice nib. The Prussian blue, I have to say, my bottle is actually still quite full. It's not one of my favorites, and I used it this time because I really wanted to give this ink a try. I mean, it's fine, nothing wrong with it, but it's just not going to be one of my favorites. That's just the case. Right, next up I have Parker Jotter. It's been a while since I used my Parkers, and especially my Jotters, so I really wanted to use one of them. And again, these are just brilliant pens. This one I'm pretty sure is dry as well. Yes, it's dry. So I'm gonna have to dip this one. And what I have in here is Diamine Writer's Blood. Writer's Blood, of course, very well known ink. You know, it's nothing new for most people. But this pen and ink combination for me is particularly one that I enjoy. So a quick tip, wiping the excess there so we can use this pen. Now let's see how it writes. I think that's a little bit wetter than it normally would be. Just let's wipe a little bit more. That's more realistic. Parker Jotter, of course, in a medium nib. I don't know if you get these in a fine nib. I would love this pen in a fine nib, by the way. Ink is Diamine Writer's Blood. So you can see this is a fairly wet pen, it's a fairly wet ink, it's a fantastic combination. It's you know, the Jotters are so reliable, or let me say consistent. I've got quite a few of them, and if I didn't know which one I'm holding in my hand and I write with them, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. The nibs write exactly the same, all of them. Really consistent. They've got a very characteristic feel to the feedback, which for me is different than any of my other pens. So when I write this pen, I can absolutely feel this is a Jotter nib that I'm writing with. So absolutely brilliant. The only downside to these pens is they can be a little small, although in my hand, I mean, they don't appear too small, but if you post them, that little bit of back weight really makes the difference, and that's all you need. So then let me just put away this ink, and the last pen is an interesting one. It is this Pelican, which is a cheap plastic pen I bought in Kenya while traveling, but this is a pretty nice pen. I can't remember if I even reviewed it, and maybe I should at some point. Okay, I've got a converter in here, and yes, we've run out of ink, which is fine. Now, for how cheap this pen was, I can't remember, maybe $2 max, if that, between $1 and $2 for this pen. it's actually got a very nice nib. So it is dried up, and what I have in here is Sargasso Sea. This bottle is nearing its, well, it's still, let me see, it's got a little bit left, and I have to tilt it to get some on the nib. So you see, that's the problem with these bottles. Get the excess off there. So Sargasso Sea, of course, is nothing new. It's an absolutely brilliant ink. So let's go. Here I have a pelican, and I don't know what the model is. Could be anything, right? But this is a medium nib for sure, and my ink is Diamine Sargasso Sea. For such a cheap pen, this is a brilliant writer. It's really smooth, really nice nib. Cannot complain about it at all. It's a good combination, ink with a pen as well. Sargasso Sea is one of those inks that can be a little bit tricky to clean out of some pens. I don't think it would, like in my demonstrator pens, I haven't really used it. I'm a little bit afraid that it's going to stain the inside of the barrel, although I don't think it should. But you will definitely have to, I think, disassemble those pens to clean them, because this is an ink that sticks around. But on paper it looks really brilliant. I saw a video where, I can't remember who it was, compared Sargasso Sea with Noodler's, I think, Bay State Blue, and these inks are really close in terms of the way they look. It's also an ink that has a very nice sheen to it. Now, whether you'd be able to see this, I've got no idea. But anyway, so these are my pens and inks for the past month or two. It would be hard to pick a favorite out of these, but I will tell you that the Diamond Salamander, that is an ink that I'm really enjoying. The Noodler's Black Swan, brilliant. Ancient Copper, yeah, also very nice. It's really hard to choose. These are all really brilliant inks. I think I had this month just a really great combination. The Prussian Blue, I don't really care for that much. Is what it is. Black inks, well, they all look very similar, but Heart of Darkness is a lovely dark black, and I just enjoy that one. Well, these are my pens and inks for the month. Thank you for watching, and again, if you enjoy my channel, please like and subscribe. I appreciate the support as always, and I'll see you next time.